Man, we right back on the spot at the spot. You got to excuse my mouth, man. You know, we got some divine brothers in here today, man, that's going to go ahead and feed your mind and your soul, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Because who am I? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, y'all want to feel free.
Hey, well, we back. All praises to the Most High. Israel United in Christ, that's the organization. I'm Officer Yari, based out of Seattle camp. To my right,
Officer Caleb.
As you all know, or if you don't know, we're an organization that started back in 2003. Right now, we pushing the earth, right?
Okay.
The Bible tells us to go preach this gospel throughout the earth. Let's go to Matthew 24 real fast. So right now, that's what we're doing, man. We trying to touch every soul that we could possibly touch. We're trying to show who you are. When I say you, I'm speaking to you, blacks, natives, and Latinos. Who you are according to the Bible, because it's too often that we don't know. We don't know our nationality. We don't know who we are as a people. You got the whole earth fighting over us, different lands and different powers. And what are we doing as a nation? We want to unify, but there's only one way to do it according to the Bible. Now, of course, that's if you believe in the Bible, right? But read that Matthew 24. Go to, what's that, 14? Read that.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So, if we want the end to come, and that's end of what we know it as today as society, and we back in rulership, and notice I said back in rulership, this gospel got to go throughout the four corners of the earth. That's our mission. That's our ploy, to wake up the 12 tribes of Israel. One more real quick, just as far as the introduction. Go to Isaiah. Real fast.
Yeah, man, you know, go like, comment, and subscribe, man. I know we starting it off a little bit different, but I want you guys to get it more of an introduction, man, because, you know, it's a lot of negative, man, inclinations out there, man, you know, and I'd rather y'all, man, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and give just, man, a quick, man, you know, interlude of what you guys got going. I got a couple of questions for y'all,
yes,
but we'll
sir.
go into that, man, you know what I'm saying, but, man, you know, go ahead, man, then be a man.
It's a light thing, get that?
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserve of Israel.
So that's the plot. That's the ploy, to preserve the. Read that one more time, just the bottom part.
And to restore the preserved of Israel.
To restore the preserved of Israel. That's what we out here doing. You may see us all over the earth. You may see us on the YouTubes. You may see us on the social medias. Understand, we not out here being an enemy to no one. We showing and spreading love to the nation of Israel, you blacks, natives, and Latinos.
So, okay, man, why blacks, natives, and Latinos? Does that include what, the Asians as well, or does it, man, you know, like, kind of, man, you know, if you can, just a little bit, elaborate just a little bit, man. Just
why? So when we look through the earth, right,
mm-hmm.
and let's say we get multiple demographics of people, right, like you mentioned, the Asians. You get the Asians, you get some, let's say, the East Africans, mm-hmm. right? You get these different people, and you get some blacks or you get some natives, right? And then you ask them their history.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen? The Asians go way back to the Wu-Tang dynasty or to the Shaolin dynasty, right? They're going to go years back, right? They're going to go years back. Same with the East Indian, right?
Yeah.
Or the East African, because that's what I mentioned.
Yeah.
Or how about this? The Iranian man.
Okay.
You ask him his history, or let's say you ask him, who are they in the Bible? He's going to tell you, I'm a Persian. He's going to know that history about himself. But if you ask the native, what they going to say?
And when it comes, in a sense, I love your question. In a sense, though, it really kind of comes from where the knowledge is devoted in. Some may say the Asiatic black man.
Right.
Some may say, you know, being a Hebrew.
Right.
You know, like See, the reason, like I said, the reason I can have an open mind, my grandfather, he taught at Total Word Concept Institute. So he taught Greek, he taught Aramaic, he taught Hebrew. They studied Haggadah. My family used to go to Israel every year.
Right.
I wasn't into it. I ain't gonna bull crap with you or anything. But you know what I'm saying? I still open to knowledge. And I know, man, there's knowledge out here, so I don't really knock. But, it's like, what isolates?
Right.
Because you got the NOI who comes with the story of Yaqub, and then the 16 generations of them going up to be scientists. And how does that differentiate from what you guys are saying?
Right. So notice you spoke about one would say this and one would say that.
Yeah.
Based upon the knowledge that they received.
Exactly.
But there's only one history. You see that? There's only one history, period. So that's the point. If I ask you and your family members, who's your grandpa, you all go tell me the same man, ain't you?
Correct. Yes.
Unless what?
Unless you don't know.
And now you got to go searching for what?
You got to go search for your identity.
Knowledge or identity. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. The blacks, natives, and Latinos, they don't have their history. That's what differentiates. So I'm not speaking knowledge per se. The only knowledge that I'm speaking about is the laws of God. That's the only knowledge that I'm speaking about. But what I'm talking about is us figuring out the history of our people. So now we can actually move in that standpoint of that type of culture. Okay. Everyone has their own culture, but who?
Us.
Everyone has their own God, but who?
Us.
That's why I'm pinpointing us.
Let me ask you something real quick, because it's important what you asked. You asking about knowledge, right? You said there's a lot of different knowledge out here and you open to it. Watch this. Go to Baruch 336. Mm-hmm. Now watch what God said about knowledge. Baruch 336. Watch.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 36. He had found out all the way of knowledge.
So he had found out all the way of knowledge.
And had given it unto Jacob.
Who did he give the knowledge to?
Unto Jacob.
Jacob.
His servant.
Uh-huh.
And to Israel, his beloved.
So he gave all the knowledge to who? To Jacob.
Jacob.
So now the question would be, who is Jacob? Because obviously it just said that whoever Jacob is, or Israel, those are the ones that got the true what?
The knowledge.
Knowledge. So that's why, and then you have to understand, okay, if Jacob got the knowledge, what knowledge do they have? Go to Malachi 2:7 real quick. This is the knowledge that Jacob have that no other nation has.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Your priest's lips should keep knowledge.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
They should seek the law, the laws of God. That is the knowledge. Go ahead.
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Why? Because what? The laws of God, meaning the messenger, the priest, the knowledge that he's going to be telling the people is his laws. So now you got to look at, why is there killing, robbing, murdering amongst our people? Because we lack what?
Discipline and laws.
The knowledge.
On top.
You see what I'm saying? So once we gain the knowledge, you think if I see you as a brother rather than an enemy, it'll be hard for me to do harm to you.
True.
But the only way I'm gonna know that is through the what? Knowledge. That we're the same what? People.
Yeah, we're the same people.
We're the same people.
Yeah.
So why would I hurt you?
Man, but okay, so for the people that will reject the fact that, why, you know what I mean? Because you guys would say Hebrew, so more Hebrew, more Jewish customs, or because, you got the Torah, you know what I mean? You got the other, man, the other, I don't want to say bullshit, but I'm going to say the Kabbalah, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother different, why the King James Version, though? Because in question at the Council of Narcissus, or you know what I'm saying, and they're going through it and everything like that. And then when you got some fractions with knowledge where they say, man, Shakespeare wrote the Bible, you got another fraction where it says King James was a homosexual. Why the King James version though? Why not just out of the Torah? You know, because that's been always my question. You know, that's been my question. I'm like, well, damn, if they Hebrews, and if they keep the law and they study the law, wouldn't it be the law of the old land versus the law of the new land, and then with the Bible, which is coming like 2,000 years later after with Christian and Christ and everything like that?
Well, when you ask the question why the King James, right?
Yeah.
You say that based upon what? The thought that the King James is what?
Well, it's just a man-made. Well, look at it from two aspects. Mm-hmm. It's what they used to basically give Christianity to slaves.
Right.
And then at the same time, from a knowledge standpoint, it was translated, so it's been many translations. So you got like the Book of Maccabee that's not in it. You know what I'm saying? You got the Book of Jubilee that's not in it. Then you got dispensational truth that is not in chronological order.
Right. So, because I remember last time we was here, the other brother that was here, we was talking about that. And I was saying, well, the only reason you believe that about the Bible is because we believe the oppressor who pressed it upon us, right? Mm-hmm. The incorrect way. Remember, especially when you have to pay attention to the fact that everything is derived, meaning how we get it, is from history. This Bible derived on the earth from our writings. You see what I'm saying? Hold my sheep, hear my voice, and go to Psalm 68. Watch this. Go to Psalm 68 real quick. It's from our writings, meaning my father's fathers, your father's father, our writings. Our writings got stole from us, because you mentioned Council of Nicaea. Yeah. But what happened before Council of Nicaea? The fall of Jerusalem in 70 A.D. What happened? They ramshackled Jerusalem, and they took our writings. It took them 1,500 years to translate our writings in different languages, starting with Latin, all the way down to English, right? You know, a lot of it was Latin, Aramaic, Spanish, right?
Spanish, yeah.
Okay, read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 68 and verse 11. The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Mm-hmm. Kings of armies did flee a space.
So stop. So it said, great was the company of those that published it. Who published it? Because you mentioned the Torah. Mm-hmm. Who published the Torah? The Torah is the first 5 books in the Bible.
Yeah.
That's Moses' writings.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? All the way up to Revelation, right? John the Revelator published that. That's his writings.
Yeah, it's same thing. Yeah.
Now, when you go through the Gospels and things, it's talking about Christ, and it's talking about Matthew, but it's other men's writings about what was going on in that time, right?
Yeah, correct.
Same with the Maccabees. Because you said it's not in the Bible, but it's in our Bible. This is the 1611 King James. Maccabees is in here. Esdras is in here. He just read out of Baruch. Baruch was Jeremiah's scribe.
Is it a different? Because even when you said Baruch, I'm like, I was sitting there trying to just. Is it a different Bible that you guys actually have? Or?
It's the 1611. It's the original.
See, okay,
1611.
Express that going.
Okay,
because when
we didn't bring our dictionary. Nobody brought a dictionary. Yeah.
Like I said, no offense, but when he said, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to.
So look, when the black King James, he was black. He wasn't a homosexual, as far as my knowledge and my research, because a lot of people say that too, like you said, right?
Yeah, off top.
He was. Now you could say he was a coon.
Yeah.
Right. He was the last ruling king in Russia. He was a coon, but at the end of the day, he authorized. That's why it says it. Authorized the translation. He used 3 different groups of scholars, right, to translate. Right. So at the end of that, they came out with the King James. Now, before that, you had Tinsdale. You had the Great Bible.
The Bishop's Bible.
The Bishop's Bible, right? You had the other Bibles, meaning what? Translations of what? Our writings. So King James held up to be the best one, meaning they got the best understanding out of our writings. Remember, it took them 1,500 years, right? So you have to understand, when he first authorized it, what they translated was all the Old Testament books that we know of, and they also translated what they call the Apocrypha today. That's First Esdras, Second Esdras, Judith, or Esther, or the rest of Esther. Because Esther, if you read it in the canonical, it just cuts off in chapter 10, right? But you get the rest of Esther, right? You get Tobit, you know? People don't know about Tobit.
Yeah,
He was an old man in the days of Jonah, you know? Tobit was there.
and this is called the Bible, the 1611.
The 1611 original, the original 1611 Bible. Or you can find those books just in a book called the Apocrypha. You got 1st and 2nd Maccabees. I wanted to touch on the Maccabees because why? If you go into regular, again, history, because there's only one history, you see the Maccabean revolt. They were none other than the tribe of Levi. They were Israelites revolting against Epiphanes. What's his name?
Antiochus Epiphanes.
Antiochus. Revolting against Antiochus Epiphanes. And that's in world history, the Maccabean revolt. But that's written in the Bible. Everybody call Alexander who?
The Great.
He's Alexander the Greek. That's all he is to us. He's another captor. Do we give praise and honor to captors? Does anybody, that's what I mean, does any person on earth give praise and honor to the person who put them in captivity?
Only us.
Exactly.
Only us.
You see that?
Hey, we're caught.
You see that? That's an issue. That's why what he was telling you about knowing the knowledge, right, of the laws of us, meaning our people, or the laws of God, which he gave to Jacob and only to Jacob, that's our detriment. That's why no matter where you go, you're never being taught to keep the laws.
Right.
Think about it. On earth, no matter where you go, there's nobody talking about keep the laws. You know why? Watch this. I'll show you something in history that they've always known. Go there. You know what I want.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20.
Now, Judith, that's another book that's not in the regular 66 canonical books of the Bible. It's in what you would call the Apocrypha. Or they call it the missing books, too. It's not missing, right? Or the hidden books, excuse me. Read that.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people.
So now this is during the time of the Persians ruling. When the Persians was ruling the majority of the earth. When they were the head empire. Read.
If there be any error in this people.
If there's any error in this people, the people that Holofernes, he's one of the captains who he was talking about or asking about are the Israelites. Read.
And they sin against their God. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
But what? Read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation.
Iniquity is the same as sin, but if there's no sin, notice what it said. No iniquity in what?
In their nation.
In their nation. If there's no sin among those people, read.
Let my Lord now pass by.
Don't you deal with them. Don't you dare go messing with them, because what's going to happen? Read.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Because our God will defend us then. Read.
And their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
And everybody gonna know we smashed them just like the Egyptians got smashed.
So why don't people, or not even men, why don't people even know that you guys are preaching out of a whole nother different Bible?
You know what it is? It's not that it's different.
What you know what I'm we call it, man, the original Bible. We'll just call it like that.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Why? Because DC, man, New York, bro. I didn't see never. You see, my brain is turning right now because I'm like, these books again. Having a grandfather, which was in his knowledge, is like, boom. I literally have all these books sitting in my house.
Right.
Old, blow the dust off ass books.
Right.
And I know about this, so I choose not to even. Like again, I don't engage Christians at all. Like I'm gonna just be real with you. Whatever I feel is how I feel. I keep my shit to myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I just don't believe all it. But just hearing that, like, why isn't that even talked about or anything like that? Because I'm blown away.
Well, the thing is, it's talked about, but not everybody's paying attention. And that's just, it's like this. Whatever you're into is what you're into. That's what it comes down to.
Gotcha.
So now get that. My sheep hear my voice. What's that? John something.
This is the book of John,
you got it good. Go
chapter
read.
10 and verse 27.
Yeah, there it is.
My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me.
That's the whole thing. Just like when Christ walked the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
He already knew who he was going to look for. So that's what that's what it's saying right now. It said, "My sheep hear my voice; they know me, and they're gonna follow me."
So okay, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but I really want to engage y'all, man.
Yeah, let's
like
do
this
it.
time, man, and I'm enjoying this. Like all bull crap to the left. Excuse me. Really enjoying this, and I know my viewers go like, comment, and subscribe, man, because these be the questions y'all be asking me. Or man, we see in the box from the last interview, and you know what I'm saying. I'm a man. Go ahead and ask, but at the same time, I'm in search of knowledge. So I'm gonna ask y'all why I got y'all in front of me.
Praise.
Dr. Booker, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Man, you know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that concepts of the 16 generations, with everybody being from Africa, and then those Africans going up into the mountains, being separated from the polar caps, and then their pigment changing over 16 years and coming out, which is made and which crafted what we would call the Anglo-Saxon or the Caucasian. Right. How do y'all feel on that concept with that science that he's pushing? And, you know, shouts out to, you know, Baba, man, you know what I'm saying? Baba, Dr. Coleman and everything like that, man, good brother. But that science in regards to, you know, what you guys are saying, because, you know, a lot of times, like I said, people think you guys are a hate group.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what does that come in? Because I hear the 12 tribes, but where do Caucasians fit in on this?
All right. Yeah, but dealing with the science, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get that? No. First, I got you. Read. Start at. Yep, just 20. That's all I want. No, start at 19. I do want 19. Start at 19. 1 Timothy 6, verse 19.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 19. Laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life.
So we have to lay up for ourselves a good foundation for the time to come, for we may take hold of eternal life, right? That's what it says. It says you need a good foundation. Watch this, read.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Avoid profane and vain babblings, meaning things that doesn't help me in my salvation, right? Read.
And oppositions of science,
And
falsely.
And avoid oppositions of science. What?
Falsely so called.
Falsely so called. Anybody talking about science, that's falsely so called. That's trying to take God out of the equation. That's what that is. Big Bang theories.
Mother Nature. You know how you hear Mother Nature.
Yeah, all that. That's trying to take God out the equation. Now, you said the Caucasians. Go to Genesis 25:25.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man.
So stop. So notice, because we might have missed it, it said both boys came out, but it only mentioned one boy's complexion. Read that part again.
And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
The reason why it was so important to document that, because that was the first time a baby's ever come out of a womb red. All the babies was coming out fair skinned. You know what I'm saying? So this baby didn't came out red and hairy. It's like, what the heck? This was a different baby. Then it starts to name the attributes of Esau. Said the first was a cunning hunter. You know, this is what he does. So go to 26 and 3.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 3. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Now watch this. So now let's see what happened. Jump up to verse. Is it 18? Let me look. Oh, read before we go there, read 25, verse 27 through 30.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
So we want to understand that Esau's name changed to Edom. Now, if you just look up, you can just look up on the internet. Matter of fact, pull that up. Edom. Oh, here, pull it up. Regular, just internet, just smartphone, just boop, Edom. Let's see what the world already understands and knows.
Edom. Edom was an ancient kingdom in Transjordan, located between Moab to the northeast, the Arabah to the west. Wikipedia is what you want, officer.
Edom, Idumea.
Edom, Idumea.
Oh, you good, bro?
Yeah. All he wants the name. Jewish Encyclopedia. Here, you can read it from here.
This is the Jewish Encyclopedia. Idumea. Edom is the name which was given to Esau, the firstborn son of Isaac. All right, again, the Jewish Encyclopedia definition of Edom. Edom is the name which was given to Esau, the firstborn son of Isaac, on the day he sold his birthright to Jacob for a mess of pottage.
We just read that, right? Genesis 25, read.
The reddish color of which gives it its name, Adam.
To the Idumean part. Because what are we reading? What is this under? It's not at the top.
Well, Edom, huh?
So what is this under? Look. What is this under? It's under Idumea. So who is Idumea? Now read the bottom of that. So we looked up Idumea, but it talked about Edom. How come?
This is Britannica on Edom. Edom and Moab were later conquered by...
The bottom.
where it goes into Idumeans.
Yep.
You want the whole thing or just
that bottom portion, the part that we need.
Edomites migrated to southern Judea.
It said the Edomites migrated to southern Judea,
where they were known in the New Testament times as Idumeans.
where they were known as Idumeans. Now, type in, or does it say it on that one? Idumeans? Watch this. Read this right here. Idumea, right here. Idumea Mark III. See it? Idumea. Then it's in parentheses Mark III.
Man, hey, man, we getting it together, man. I know it's some quiet spots in this show, man. You know, it's all love, man. Cause I'm over here, man. I'm over here, man. Hey, learning, and as well as, man, you know what I'm saying, asking questions. I got more questions, fam.
Read that. Want me to read it?
Yes, sir, please.
Idumea. So it says, because we already read that they went to southern Jerusalem, right? Or Judea.
Yeah.
Idumea. In southern Palestine, they prospered for more than 4 centuries. Judas Maccabeus conquered their territory for a time. It says, remember we talked about the Maccabees, right? Mm-hmm. They were again subdued by John Hyrcanus. It says, they were then incorporated with the Jewish nation. So listen, it says, again they were subdued by John Hyrcanus, by whom they were forced to observe Jewish rights and laws. So when John Hyrcanus took over, that's Simon's son, right? Simon's son? That's right. Mm-hmm. Simon Maccabeus, or Simon Thasi's son, right? He made them forcibly keep the laws of God. That's what he did, right? That's why you hear about the Hyrcanus, or yeah, pretty much that's what you'll see. You'll see, come on, help me out. The Hasmoneans, thank you. So you'll see, in history, you'll see Hasmoneans dynasty, but that's Hyrcanus and his children, right? Israelites, by the way. Mm-hmm. Forced them to keep the laws. Then it says, incorporated with the Jewish nation, and their country was called by the Greeks and Romans. That's who the Idumeans are. That's who Edom is. The Greeks and the Romans. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's who they are. So when you talk about the Caucasian man, who is the Caucasian man? Who would you call him today? Who does he call himself today? If you ask him, what's your history? He's going to say what?
Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, he's going to say Roman. He's going to say Greek.
Greek, yeah.
He's Esau, Idumean, or Esau, Edom in the Bible.
So, but what color would Jacob be there if that's his brother?
Genesis 2 and 7. Notice.
Because would they have the same mother, the same father?
Yeah. So notice, they didn't mention Jacob's skin complexion, right? It just spoke about, read that again, and then read 2 and 7. Yeah, I'll show you why. 25, and then 2 and 7. If you got something.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau.
Right.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7.
No, keep reading.
Oh, yes, sir. Verse 26. The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 26. And after that came his brother out.
After that came his brother out. That was Jacob. Read.
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old.
Then it goes on to talk about Isaac. It didn't mention his skin complexion because why? Go to 2 and 7.
The book of Genesis.
Everybody came out this way. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul.
So everybody came out the color of the dust of ground. Except for Esau.
So wouldn't the Greek and Romans be its own tribe within itself?
Go back to 25. Well, 22. 22.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So Rebecca said, if I'm pregnant and I'm going to have kids, why is this happening? Why I'm feeling all this fighting in my stomach? Read.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations is inside of her. Esau and Jacob, 2 different nations. Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be...
2 manner of people. 2 different people. 2 nations, 2 manner of people is inside you.
Shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger.
That's how God made it to be. The elder's supposed to serve the younger. So today, what are we? we upside down in this earth. That's why ain't nothing preserved in this earth. That's why everything's dying in this earth. When everything dies, we call that the beginning. The beginning is when everything breathes, when life begins. That's why we're backwards today.
So what are the 12 tribes?
Oh, let's go through them. I'll let you do that. And I'm going to find something else.
You know what I'm saying? If you're able, man, you know what I'm saying? Break down by nation.
Yes, sir. Yep, go ahead.
I go through a few of them. So go to Genesis 49, start at the first verse.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
The key word is what's going to happen to you in the last days. So Jacob called his 12 sons, and he said, listen to what I'm finna tell you, because what I'm finna tell you is going to happen to you when? In the last days. Right? So jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
So it says Simeon and Levi are brethren. But ain't all 12 tribes brethren? Why did it stipulate that Simeon and Levi were brethren? Read.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. Read.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret, until their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
So it say these two brothers, they would in their habitation, there would be something that the Lord said for the other tribes not to get into, right? Don't deal with that. Then it say that they would not be united. So now let's get a little bit more understanding on it. Read verse 5 again.
Verse 5, the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 5. Simeon and Levi.
Today are the Dominicans. So it says Simeon
and Levi.
Levi today are the Haitians. Where do they live at today?
On the island.
On the same island.
Yeah.
Right?
By a fake a fake line.
Right.
Fake
So
invisible
notice
line.
it say that it say Simeon, the Dominicans, and Levi, the Haitians,
Are brethren.
they're brothers.
Yeah.
But all the 12 tribes are brothers. But watch what he say next.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Meaning they're going to be in what? Witchcraft. The Haitians got voodoo.
Yeah, voodoo.
Voodoo. The Dominicans got Santeria, Blue Area.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
right.
saying?
Cubans, yeah.
So it's the Dominicans. Cubans are the Manasseh.
Well, now the Cubans.
They got it. They in it too. Yeah, they in it too.
Yeah.
But it's mainly in where? The Dominican.
Yeah.
Right? So it says instruments of cruelty are in their habitation, meaning what? They're going to be heavy in witchcraft. Read the next verse.
O my soul, come not thou into their secret.
So Jacob is telling the other tribes, don't go into what? Voodoo and Santeria. Read.
Unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united.
So now it tells you, he said that those two tribes would not be united, but yet they're on the same what?
They're on the same island.
They're on the same island. But
Yeah.
why they hate each other?
Because one don't want to identify as being black, and the other one is like, man, one is looked upon down.
That's biblical prophecy. That's how we're able to look according to prophecy. Listen, we're gonna get more.
Yeah.
We're
Because I was
get
gonna
more.
say, brother, how do y'all
Why? We're gonna get a little bit.
predetermine is the
Watch.
okay? Go
Watch.
ahead.
Go ahead.
For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
Read.
Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob,
I would divide them in Jacob,
and scatter them in Israel.
and they will be scattered amongst the tribes, right? So now watch this. So that's Judah. That's Levi and Simeon. Now watch what he said about Judah. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
So it say, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Number one, it says, why would you praise Judah? You understand what I'm saying? Number one, Christ came out of what tribe?
Man, Judea.
Let's see. Hebrews 7. Watch what it say. Hebrews 7:14.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and verse 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
Where did he spring from?
Out of Judah.
Out of Judah.
Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
So now it says that Christ came out of Judah, right? So now the question would be, okay, if Christ came out of Judah, what did he look like? Let's see what he looked like. Revelation 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The revealing of Jesus Christ.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
What was the texture of his hair?
White like wool.
What people got woolly hair?
Man, black people.
Black people. Go ahead.
As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So your feet is the same color as your face. If you burn anything in a furnace, it turns what? Black. You see what I'm saying? So now with that understanding, now when we go back to Genesis 49 and verse 8, if Christ came from Judah and it say what color that Christ was, black, then what color is Judah?
Black.
Black. So now that you know that Judah is black, let's go into some more prophecy. Go back to verse 8 again.
Sir, the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Read.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
It say, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. So now you will have to say, well, who is Judah's enemy to where their hand is at their neck? Like if I grab your neck right now, man, you're going to be in close proximity.
Right.
Right? So it says that Judah his hand would be in the neck of his enemy, meaning he would be in close proximity to his what?
Enemy.
To his enemy. So who is Judah's enemy today? Who's black people's enemy?
Shit. Unfortunately, man, you know what I'm saying?
Let's
we
see.
can look from a historical point, or we can say us.
Watch this. Go to Deuteronomy 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So because black people didn't want to serve God, it said that black, Hispanics, and natives, because they did, but we're speaking for Judah, that's why I'm just saying black.
Yeah.
But because we didn't want to serve God, he said what?
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now you got to serve your enemy. Now, notice we got to serve our enemy. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee. In hunger.
In hunger, you got to serve your enemy. Do black people own any kind of water?
Agriculture,
Nothing.
Nah.
So we got to go to our what?
Enemy, yeah.
Is this our land?
Depending on what your knowledge is and what you believe.
Watch this. It's going to get even more. It's going to get more descriptive. Go ahead.
And in thirst.
In thirst.
And in nakedness.
You got to serve our enemy for our clothes.
And in want of all things.
Everything that we want, we got to go to our enemy to obtain it. Your education, you got to go where? To your enemy. Your knowledge even of your own records, you got to go to who? Your enemy. Read this. Keep going.
And he shall put a yoke of
Then
iron.
it say that enemy shall do what?
Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
What people got yokes of iron put on their neck? We did. But the Bible just said your enemy will be the people to do it. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed us. Now we're mentally what? Destroyed.
Yeah.
So there's no need to have a shackle on your neck because you mentally destroyed. Now you over calling yourselves Americans. Now you somewhere calling yourself Jamaicans. You're destroyed. You're not calling yourself Israel. You're not calling yourself who God calls you. So now based upon us knowing that our enemy put yokes of iron on our neck, when we go back to the prophecy, go back to Genesis 49.
Sir, the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
Where are we at?
Behind
In the neck of our enemies. We're still here today in close proximity. The Mexicans got their own land. That's Issachar. The Cubans, Manasseh, got their own land. That's Manasseh. Levi and Simeon, they got their own island. The Jamaicans, which is Benjamin, they got their own island. But Judah is mainly in the where? In the United States of America. You understand? In the neck of their enemy, just like the Bible said,
But-
would be in the last days.
My question, excuse me, if we're supposed to forgive and love our enemy, and if that's our brother, going back, then where's the separation at? Is that where the problem comes in, where they look at y'all as more of a pro-black because you're pushing that, or you pushing that concept, or you saying that
So now,
as a hateful?
so now the question is, who told you to forgive and love your enemy?
The same person that brought me that King James version.
No, your enemy.
But but the same person who gave me that King James version.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Talk to me, brother.
Do it say that in the King James Version?
What, to forgive my enemy?
To love and forgive your enemy.
Nah, that was some motherfucker. Excuse me. That was somebody sitting on a pulpit that told me to do that.
Right. It don't say it in the Bible. So he told you to believe in this Bible and forgive. But the Bible don't tell you that. Let me show you something about the Bible. Go to Tobit, chapter 14. This is a prophet in the Bible. Remember I talked about Tobit?
Yeah.
Let's see what happened when he found out his enemy was destroyed. Last verse.
The book of Tobit, chapter 14 and verse 15. But before he died, he heard of the destruction of Nineveh.
So Tobit heard of the destruction of Nineveh, his captors, because he was captive in Nineveh. Read.
Which was taken by Nebuchadnezzar and Ahasuerus. And before his death, he rejoiced over Nineveh.
He rejoiced in that thing. He said, thank the Lord, all praises. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. Let's see if our people as a nation, if you want any type of salvation, what does the Bible, the King James Version, say? Read.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 and verse 7. So of thy people, you want me to start up, sir?
Right there.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 and verse 7. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous.
So, as a people, if you want to be saved, to accept salvation, you must what? Read.
And destruction of the enemies.
If you're looking for salvation, then you must accept the destruction of your enemies. See that?
So what do you do? What do you guys fall in regards to with the Jewish? The actual-
Revelations. You
Because-
already know we gonna give you cut and dry what the Bible say.
Man, that,
and we
but
gonna talk about it.
hey, I'm
And
not.
we gonna
I'm
talk
not chilling.
about it.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, that's what I want. Man.
And
You
we
know what
gonna
I'm saying?
talk about it.
I
Read.
man, again, man, thank you, man.
book of Revelation.
Hold on.
Before you go, boss, man, go like, comment, and subscribe, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm engaging it, but at the same time, again, I'm learning. So I know I talk a lot of crap on them other episodes, man. But I'm sitting here, man. When you taking it in, you got to take it in, think, man, and some truths. You know what I mean? So, man, go like, comment, and subscribe, man. Go ahead, brother.
Sure.
Man, for sure.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
So the blasphemy is the lies. I know the lies of them that say they are Jews. You just asked me, what about the Jewish? They are putting it in our face, telling us they're not the Jews. Because why? The suffix ish. It says we're something like. If I tell you I'll be there around 6-ish, I'll be there around 6. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're telling us to our face, we're not the Jews. We're something like them, though.
Man, all right, man. I'm gonna throw a curveball, man.
So watch, but let me finish that real quick.
Go ahead,
Read.
finish, man.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
So I know the lies of them that say they're Jews, but what?
and are not,
But they're not the Jews. Read.
but are the synagogue of Satan.
That's who the Jewish is. Read verse 3 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 9.
It's so cold he had to repeat it. Read.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
So now he tell you to you straight. They lying. Read.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
So, I mean, now I kind of get an idea of your points, man. You know what I mean? You know, of why the points that you make. Because if it does say to attack your enemy and to kill your enemy in order to be on his side.
Now remember,
And again, I'm just.
now watch. I want you to finish too, but I want to just correct one part.
Talk to me.
It's not saying attack your enemy and kill your enemy.
Talk to me.
It's saying accept the destruction of your enemy. We sitting back watching the destruction of our enemy right now, talking to you.
So just coincide, huh? So would y'all say y'all with the original 44,000?
Let me just help you real quick, just to clear that up real quick. Go ahead, boss. Go to Romans 12:18. Just so it be real clear.
Nah, man,
I get it, but you know your viewers might be like, oh. You know?
Yeah, I want man, that's what I want, man. Come on, baby, it's good. Yeah, it's love.
So I wanna just bring this scripture out to let you know that we're not advocating for us to do anything to our enemy.
Okay. That's the point.
You understand what I'm saying? We're not advocating to do anything. And I just want to get two scriptures on that real quick.
Sure.
Go to Revelation 12:18. Yeah, that's what I mean. Romans 12.
Romans 12.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
See that? So it says, as much as lieth within you, live peaceably with all men. So we supposed to live peaceably with all men. So like Officer said, we waiting for the Lord to do the destruction. We're waiting for the destruction. Go to Nahum.
Wait, hold that real quick. Read 19.
Book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath.
See that? We're not trying to avenge ourselves. We're giving place to wrath. Read.
For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, said the Lord.
That's written in Deuteronomy in the 32nd chapter.
See that?
Y'all come with it on that one.
So we're commanded by God to live at peace with all men, and the vengeance will come from Him.
Right. So we ain't talking about going to kill nobody, no coming against. And whether you realize it or not, the biggest threat, and who said it? What's your boy's name? Hoover. The biggest threat is us knowing that we're the Israelites and us coming back to keeping God's laws. That's all we got to do. That's the biggest threat to society.
Nah, man, I really wanted to address that point, man, because you know what I'm saying, there's a negative condensation when anytime some brothers, is speaking about, man, knowledge of self. So that's why I kind of wanted to go that way and make that basis, and I kind of put it like it wasn't trying to disrespect.
No
but
doubt.
I just wanted to bring out that point, man, because, when it comes down to it, you have a lot of people that have a very much a negative condensation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be real. Rather you're a 5%er, rather if you, man, you know what I'm saying, Muslim, man, you know what I mean, whatever you choose in the direction that you want to go, as long as you're a betterment of our people and betterment of yourself, who am I to judge who's right or wrong? And that's the way I look at it. But I'm going to keep it 100. I love seeing you brothers 20, 30 deep on a corner. I ain't gonna even lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, you know what I mean? Whatever y'all doing it from the heart. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no fake. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing, man, you know what I mean? I just wanted to bring out, man, but just to kind of, man, like I said, I was going to throw you a curveball.
Yeah.
So, Dr. York, my Nawapians, the Moors, man, how y'all, man, what's your notion on that? And their concept, man, you know what I'm saying, of the giants and the
Anunnakis.
You know I was gonna, man. I try to be respectful to everybody's way of thinking, man. But I mean, so you know what I mean. In the Bible, man, what do you guys stay in, and where y'all stand at on that?
So the original concept of giant, right? Mm-hmm. I'll start there. That just means famous men. Like today, a superstar is a giant in the earth.
So you guys take it more from the literal term of being a statement versus...
That's the original concept of giant. Now, when we went over to the land, when we first went to go get that numbers, you know what I'm talking about? It's right after 16, I believe, yeah. And everything was big. Anybody got it? No? It's 13, yeah. Go to 13. Numbers 13.
13, 23.
Book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 23. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes.
Real quick, just to give you the history of what's going on before we read this verse. Moses had sent Israelites to spy the promised land. All right, now go ahead. So when they went to the promised land, they had to bring Moses something back from the promised land to prove what was going on in the land.
Start at 21. Because we about to touch on the Anakims too.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 21. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rahab, as men come to Hamath. And they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Tilmai, the children of Anak, were.
The children of who?
Anak.
Read.
Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bare it between two upon a staff. And they bought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence.
So understand, it was a cluster of grapes, and they had to carry it with 2 men. That's how big the grapes were. Drop down to verse 31.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 31.
Sorry. 29.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 29. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south.
Well, start at 27 so we can see what happened.
Verse 27. And they told him and said,
So now they came back, and here's the message.
We came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey.
That was the promised land, right?
And this is the fruit of it.
They brought the fruit. Like, man, look how big it is. Read.
Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses, and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature.
Saying they were big. Said these is big as hell, man. These people is big over there. The children of Anak, read.
And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
So that's where that comes from. You see that? That was just another group of men that were big, tall, like the Watutsis today. You know, Matumbo and them.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
Yeah.
That's all that was. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no big conspiracy like we want to make it. Why? Because we're lost. Because you talk about the Moor, right? What does the word Moor mean? Black, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened? We was mixing. Just like today, a lot of us call ourselves, you mentioned it already, Muslim. Moor is just the old Muslim. We was always the Israelites. They were Israelites. There's plenty of books on it. They were Israelites, and then they started calling themselves Moor. That's when we start going away from God's laws. You got that? Go ahead.
Go to Micah 1:1. Watch this about the Moor. Let's hear about one of the prophets, what he was named.
The book of Micah, chapter 1 and verse 1. The word of the Lord that came to Micah,
Micah the prophet,
the Moreshite.
the Morishite.
The Moorish.
The Morishite.
The
He was-
Morishite.
He was just a black man. Read.
In the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem.
So you see that even one of the prophets was called what? A Morishite. He was what? Black man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Real talk.
So the whole sect of Moors, like how they're brought out today, as it's brought out today, it was just us going off.
So
Us stopping to keep the laws of God. That's it.
my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you
No,
before
you
you
good.
finish, man. So would you guys say you guys really study more of a, well, I'm not gonna say Jewish, I'm gonna say Hebrew type of traditions more than anything, or is that
Israelite. That's
Israelite?
all it is.
Okay.
Because that's who we are.
Your garments.
Right.
Are you allowed to, if you don't mind me standing up for a second, man, so they can kind of see, are you allowed to explain a little bit about the garments, man?
Yeah,
the
yes,
colors,
sir.
man?
Yes, sir. Go to Numbers. And you know what's so crazy? The Native American, right?
Uh-huh.
The Gadite, right? The tribe of Gad. We go out to the different powwows, right? We got one coming up out in Mount Vernon,
Okay.
right? On the 19th, right? Just right around the corner. We'll talk to Gad, right? And we'll ask them, why are they wearing that? Because, you know, when they go to their powwows, they get into their what they call it.
Their attire.
Their
man, the whole
traditional
yeah.
get up, right? Some even call it costumes, whatever. But they all, if you just pay attention, all their traditional garments have what? The same thing, fringes and a border of blue around it. And we ask them, why do they do it? They tell us all sorts of stuff. Because they don't even realize, they just happen to keep the custom. But they don't realize this is why they do it. Read.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
So it said, look upon it to remember all the commandments of the Lord. Because what happened was, when you read previous in that chapter in Numbers 15, God had already gave the commandment that we do not work on the Sabbath, right?
Right.
So a brother messed around and picked up some sticks on the Sabbath, doing some work. So Moses went to the Lord and said, what do we do? Well, unfortunately, the brother had to get killed. God said, well, kill him. So then God made the law, or the statute of fringes. So read that again one more time.
Verse 39. The book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 39.
38.
38. Speaking to the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
Read.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, and you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes.
You see that? So you don't seek after your own heart, your own eyes. So every time you wear this, imagine you go to sin, you remember that commandments because you're looking at them fringes. Now for him, if you use that example that happened, you got to kneel down to pick up some sticks. You go see them fringes and remember, oh no, it's the Sabbath. See what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You see the girl with the big butt, you could be like, oh man, you got your fringes on. You're like, I'm not, you know?
Yeah. In a
You know,
sense,
all these things that will cause you to sin, it's there to help you remember. Nah, keep the commandments,
So
bro.
it's sort of like for a Catholic with the collar.
Pretty
in
much.
a sense. In a sense, yeah,
I got you.
bro,
Yeah.
on the real. So man, and not to sound from a negative, man, not to come from a negative way. Do you brothers got a big presence in the penitentiary system? Because if you notice, a lot of different movements, they recruit out of the penitentiary. And is there a big presence of you brothers in? Not trying to wish that upon nobody or anything, but is there? Because I'm not too familiar, man. You know what I'm saying? On the East Coast is where I ran more into Israelites,
Right.
And then to my ignorance, we always call them black Israelites. We allow
Right.
them as black Israelites.
Right.
But is there a presence in there? Do you guys recruit that's coming up out of the pen? I mean, man.
I mean, we ain't recruiting, but we
but you know
but
what
we
I'm saying.
definitely reaching out, talk
Yeah.
about it. Because this is,
I actually deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we definitely are reaching out to the brothers that's in the prison system.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we getting a lot of feedback. A lot of
Do you
feedback.
guys get pushback from trying to go in
yes
and preach?
a lot of pushback. As far as us going in and actually teaching.
What are some of the other religions that they do let go in that you guys know of?
everybody.
Everybody, even the Church of fucking Satan and shit?
Everybody.
What is their major push?
So what they want you to do, they have a stipulation that you have to be a ordained minister. You have to be a minister. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I gave them my credentials. I'm a minister, what they call ordained minister. I gave them my card. We were in contact until they seen that. Because now they have no reason to tell me no. So they just stopped all contact. That's in the Washington State Prison. That's Column Bay. That's everywhere we've been.
So
that's where it always shuts down for us, at least. But we've had brothers that actually made it past the walls and was able to talk to, like, we're in Arkansas, Detroit, Alabama. Like, we've had brothers, you know, in different places, but a lot of us get turned away right then. Once we show them proof and we have all the credentials that they asking for, communication somehow just get lost.
Man, what's the major pushback, man, from your people?
From our people? Keeping the laws.
Yeah.
We talked about it before on the last segment.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they agree with, that's the enemy. They agree with all that. They agree with, you know.
Hey, when it comes time to push back the port.
But when it comes time to doing right by what God's standards are, whatever God's standards are, now you got to do right by one wife and do what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's when we get the pushback.
So, man, y'all get called by God just to go pick a corner, man, and just preach? Or is it just like, is it a little more organized than that, man? Is it like a set thing, man, or what?
Well, you know, we definitely move in the spirit, meaning, hey, this is where we're going, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and so as far as set thing, I mean, we're not robots, so
yeah.
I don't know about, like, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely, you know, it's kind of like if you know anything about the Bible, right, or Paul's journey.
Okay.
Remember, Paul had stops and destinations, right?
Yeah.
And he moved around, but he moved around a particular area.
Yeah.
Same difference with us. You know what I'm saying? We all got stops, destinations, and where we going. And that's how we move to keep the ministry moving.
Yeah, again, man, these questions, man, you know, I'm just curious, man, 'cause you know what I'm saying?
I tell you what, man. Like, we have the little slogan now, like, you go on the internet, you see it, the Acts of the Apostles continue. That's literally what it is. So you can go to the books of Acts, read through there, and you would be like, that's exactly what these brothers is doing.
So how do you guys sit when it comes to politics, man, and dealing in regards with your peoples, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a George Floyd situation or a situation like that. Where do you guys sit?
Look, man, you one of the most recent things, right? Rasheem Carter. You know about that in Mississippi?
I'm not going to.
Brother got decapitated. They was talking about it and sharing pictures. They chased him through the woods, decapitated him.
Like, was it like 3 white guys or something like that? Okay, I did read about it and stuff.
So we go out for that type of stuff. You know, brothers and sisters, they do marches and stuff. It's not that it's like, it's nothing against a march, because we'll go out and, like, show a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And we may do a march, right?
Yeah.
To show a purpose. But the purpose that we're doing is to show unification, to show how unified black and brown can be.
It's like what happened in New York at the Barclay.
Exactly what we would do. I was there, right? Exactly what we did, right? So, but the problem with our marches as a black people, period, we do it for no purpose. Because afterwards, what happens a lot of times, especially...
Some start to may act. Well, now this generation
we start fighting, we start shooting, killing right after the march. Like, what we doing? So, anyways, with Raheem's mother, or Rasheem's mother, excuse me, you know, she called us out because she know what we do. You know, so we spoke on her behalf. You know what I'm saying? So we come out, we'll do that. You know, we'll speak on our people's behalf, because that's what it's about. That's what I mean by we coming out here to show and spread the love to our people and show them this is why it's happening.
Do you get
why do we get killed and no one is found guilty? How does that happen over and over and over again to a certain people? Think about that. Like that, it happens what? Twice a week, damn near now.
Yeah, social media and everything.
Yeah, because you see it now more.
Yeah.
It was always happening, but you didn't see it.
It's like
now we know for sure it's happening. But look what the Bible says about that.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 4. Thus said the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
You see that? That's how we know the Bible's a true book. You don't got to look far to see the Bible playing out in front of your eyes. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Read.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord.
And they say, thank God.
So, when you see, knowing the knowledge and the wisdom that you guys have now, and when you see like your biological brother going in the direction that he's going,
Right?
what is your grasp? Like, how do you get at him? You know what I'm saying? Just to show him or to show him the light that you guys have or that you're trying to show.
You know, Christ was one of the best ones to meet people where they were at. What did it say with the lowly? You know what I'm talking about? With the lowly. So what I mean by that is, just pull it up, with the lowly. What I mean by that is, because we've all had a past.
Yeah.
We spoke about our past a little bit last time, right? We've all had a past. We all know what. So our family, right? Because you said biological, the ones who grew up with you, watched you.
Yeah.
They still know me. Well, maybe not so much now because it's been a little bit of time, but they still remember and they know who that guy is and who he used to be and what he's about. So that's the first thing, because they see the change, first of all. Like, that's without words, right? Mm-hmm. But then the next part is to show them, bro, what did I already tell you? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what did I told you that's what, remember I read that? But no matter what, only his sheep hear his voice. Go to Jeremiah. You got the lowly too? Go to Jeremiah though.
I said we right back like we ain't never left, huh?
Well, one in the city, you know what I'm talking about?
Man.
2 or is it 3? Jeremiah 3. 3. Watch what it say. So remember, my sheep hear my voice, because I can get at them the best I can, and I can tell them this is what scripture stuck out to me and made me go, man, bro. And if he's my biological, we kind of know each other, so I know what's gonna, or at least should catch him, right?
Yeah.
But this is the issue when it comes to the spirit of man. Read.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city and 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
So not everybody is just gonna do it. It is what it is. Zechariah 13 and 8. Not everybody's gonna do it. And that's the unfortunate truths that we all face. A lot of us is in this by ourselves, meaning when it comes to biologicals. Because the biologicals like, nah, me and my sister used to be tight. I mean tight. Now it's like we barely speak because she not with it. You know what I'm saying?
So that's just the sacrifice that you make, huh?
Yeah. Read.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord,
Read.
2 parts therein shall be cut off and die,
Meaning 2 parts is not going to do it. Read.
but the third shall be left therein.
Only 1/3 of us is gonna do it.
So how
That's 1 out of 3.
y'all come out of the Puget Sound, some of y'all, correct?
Yeah.
All right. How do you combat a CD, a South End, a Tacoma, man, you know, a highway, man, a West Seattle? How do we combat that, man? You know what I'm saying?
So now the question is, well, you said how do we combat it? You're saying as far as the black neighborhood or the gentrification?
I'm speaking in regards to the black neighborhood.
Okay.
The brothers, because I mean, let's keep it 100. Every time I look, you know, I got ring.
Right.
So, you know, every time something happens in a certain neighborhood,
Popping off.
that shit, it pops
No, you
up
good,
and
you
everything
good.
like that, man. So I'm constantly seeing 20 shots, 14 shots,
That
30 shots.
Guess what? A lot of times that's the block that we hit next. A lot of times that's what it is. You know, we got a whole community outreach team. They be like, hey, this is what just happened over here. Let's go.
So you guys, man, boots on the street
Boots on the ground.
all the time?
That's how we roll. That's how we roll. We go pop up.
So what would you say that can help, that you feel could help the community right now? And I know
You know what we gonna say.
I know
You
what
know
you're
what
gonna
we
hit me
gonna
with. But
You know what we gonna
but
say.
before you hit me with that,
Yeah.
just from that person that ain't saved or that has no concept of God or that has no concept, what would you say or what would you do in order to pull them to open their eyes and everything, to go ahead and show them the, what you feel is the right way and the right way of living?
First thing we started off with today, I'll tell them about his history. I'll touch on his history. Now, if you don't care about your history, there's not probably too much we could do with you. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't caring about that, then what really we gonna do with you for real? Because now, what are you gonna listen to? Probably some foolishness from that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's at least for sure one of the main focuses.
Do you get a pushback from a lot of the brothers that are mixed in regards to
some cases? When are you saying like if the mama is?
Well, let's take the moms up out of the equation because the times that we live in right now. So
when
because just because of from the historical point of view, going into the ideology and the Greek and them being the Greeks and the Romans,
right, and
breaking that down, and then you got certain kids that walk around,
right. So the Bible tells us in Numbers 1, right? It tells us that you are what your father is, right? That's the first thing. And we kind of knew that growing up, right?
Well,
if your daddy was black, you's a nigga. That's how we used to do in the neighborhood, right?
Well,
okay, so watch that. Read it.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward.
So we declared our pedigrees by the house of our fathers. So you know what lineage you come from by your father, right? So that's the first thing. So when you say take the mother out of it, perfect, because it's based upon your daddy anyway. Now, that takes away what? Mixed. So now that's why I talked about the mom, because we're going to ask them straight off the muscle, hey, what's your dad? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
what's your dad? And they gonna be like black or white or whatever it is, right? And we be like, oh, it's not for you, or this is, hey man, did you know this about whatever, right? Hand them a flyer, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And then what's gonna happen is they're gonna find out, well, but my mom, you know what I'm saying? Because if they dad is not of the nation of Israel, then we gonna be like, oh, it's not for you. You're not the nation of Israel. I don't care how black you are. You could be your color black, but if your great granddaddy's the slave master, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
It ain't skin color.
So you guys
it's nation.
You'll turn around or turn down a lot of different cats, a lot.
I mean, it's not necessarily about turning them down. It's about them understanding who they are in history. So if we tell you that we're after a certain demographic of people, right? I'm trying to speak to a certain demographic of people based upon telling you what your true history is, because you probably don't know it. You see what I'm saying? So if you say, well, I'm this, then I'll be like, okay, well, you're not the demographic that I'm after, that I'm trying to tell their history to. Simple as that. So it's nothing else. And that's why people would be like trying to label us as hate. It ain't hate. Because when any other nation do that, do they get labeled hate?
No.
There's Chinatowns all over the earth. Are they labeled hate group?
No.
One Chinaman got okay, not to say Chinaman, because then I'm gonna sound like a hate, right? but one Asian brother got pulled off the train, or what happened?
Off the airplane.
Right off the airplane. Then the whole community banded together for him and got some laws passed. Were they labeled a hate group? But we trying to band together and band our people together and get unified. All of a sudden, we're labeled a hate group because we're not allowing others to infiltrate like Malcolm X did, like Martin Luther King did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, what's up?
Marcus Garvey didn't let him infiltrate, and what happened to him?
So
he got banished.
Got kicked back to Jamaica.
Next thing you know, he's dead. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a flip in the mind for the people to make us what? Stay ununified. That's the last thing they want, is for us to unify under God's laws. They'll let us do a Million Man March because they know at the end of that we're going to be shooting each other.
You feel that? Because I was at the Million Man. I was at both of the Million Man. I can't say that. I ain't, because I'll be lying. Because I'm a Cali cat, man. You know, I'm from LA.
Right.
I met DC brothers. And if you know the pen and everything like that, you know DC and California, and especially LA, do not get along.
Right.
But it's been on, man. Them brothers showed me nothing but love, and then explained when I seen what they was doing out there, you know what I mean, which was going into the southeast, the northwest, where they're shooting, and where you got 12-year-olds shooting off the bus,
Right.
and they feeding the community and everything like that. And I went and learned there and adopted that formula and was like, okay, let me take it to LA. Let me run over here to Seattle. Let me see where I can get this cracking and everything. I mean, I can't say that within a million, but
Okay, go ahead.
I did feel like it was a recruitment.
Well, this is what I mean by we're shooting each other at the end. What's the majority of that million man doing? Because we was there too.
And man, I ain't
That's
gonna
the
lie.
point.
We
That's
still,
the
man, the
point.
numbers are still going up.
Because this is the deal. You just mentioned what we do as a people. How come that's what we're known for?
Negative trait that they give us.
But it's what we do too. It is what it is.
Do you think there's is in a sense that they speaking into existence that we follow through?
It's not that it's spoken to existence. The Negro was created. Literally. When we got off them slave ships, we had to fight each other to eat. That's why we still fighting each other today to eat. The Negro was created. We trying to undo that. Willie Lynch said a phenomenon happened. If we don't stay on top of this slavery stuff, a phenomenon happen and their brains remember and they'll reconnect to their real selves. Willie Lynch called it a phenomenon. The phenomenon is happening before our faces. You see that? And that's the fear. Go to Revelations 11:11. That's the fear. And the Bible said they go fear. Everybody who's watching this happen. When we marched on the Barclays, there was buses, like at least 5 of them I seen of the Jewish. They was coming, but they seen us and skedaddled.
So what they was coming to
They was gonna come, try to get on Kyrie.
yeah.
But they seen us and skedaddled. I'm telling you, it was busloads of them. And then they did their little picture the next week or the next day.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. When y'all had Jason Whitlock
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
positivity, man, about you brothers, you man, that's something. I ain't even
Hey,
gonna lie. 'Cause
all it comes down to is this. You see if you see. But if you off into something else and you don't see, then you're not gonna see. That's simple. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
That's what's going on. The spirit of life is back in us. Read.
And they stood upon their feet.
And they're watching us stand upon our feet. How are we standing upon our feet? Hold that. Let's get the prophecy. Ezekiel, on 37.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse 10.
This is the prophecy of what we're going to do, what we're doing right now. Read.
So I prophesied as he commanded me. And the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
Because everybody always say, you're so militant. You're so militant. Yeah, we're God's army. What else are we supposed to do? The Russian army's militant? What? Read.
Then he said unto me.
No, go back to Revelation
the book
11.
of Revelation, chapter 11.
So this is how we standing up. It is what it is. Read.
And verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
And that's what's going on. So if fear is falling upon others that's watching and they know that it's against them basically, but it's not though, because we're not doing nothing. But what are you going to do if you know that if they keep doing this, it's going to be our downfall? Remember, we already read back in Judith, back during the time of the Persians, they knew if the nation keeps the laws of God, it's over for us.
Yeah.
So they're watching us stand upon our feet with the breath of life or the spirit within us, keeping the laws of God. They know it's the end for them. They know they're finna lose their power. Then you got to say what? Oh, no, they're not right. This is what they got to do. 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 72 to 74. This is what they got to do. And they've been doing it. It's an old trick. Read that. Or 15. You know what I want. 70, no. Secret plots.
See, I got you, sir.
First Ezra. Yeah,
Yes,
I said
sir.
2nd Ezra. First Ezra is 572. Or
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 72. But the heathen of the land lying.
start at 71.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 71. We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel.
So it says we ourselves alone, because back then they was watching Zerubbabel and them start to build Jerusalem back up. And the other nations, better known as in the Bible, the heathens, came to say, hey, we can help you. We'll help serve your God. Zerubbabel and them said no. Read.
According as Cyrus the king of the
So
Persians.
he said, no, we'll build ourselves. And guess what? Your king said we could do it because they got granted, right? Read.
According as Cyrus the king of the Persians had commanded us. But the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judah.
Notice I said, according to the Bible, they're called the heathen. The heathen of the land did what?
Lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judea.
Read.
And holding them straight, hindered their building.
They're trying to hinder us building our nation back. Read.
And by their secret plots
Secret plots, they do it.
and popular persuasion.
By popular persuasion, they do it. Read.
And commotions.
And commotions. Read.
They hindered the finishing of the building.
Oh, they're a hate group. Oh, they're not spreading love. Oh, they're bad for you. Oh, don't talk to them. Oh, this, oh, that. Popular persuasion. Secret plots. They're trying to hinder the what?
Hindered the finishing of the building all the time that the king Cyrus lived. So they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius.
So it's an old trick. That's what they're trying to do. They still doing the same old tricks. Trying to hinder the Israelites from building back their nation.
Would y'all work with like a man, I hate to bring this, but it was the one. Would you guys work with like a Charles White or anything like that in the nature?
Now, when you say work with them, meaning as in what? Because this is the thing. When you're not keeping the laws, God doesn't bless. So in order to move forward, dealing with the Lord, you got to be keeping the commandments. So if he ain't trying to keep the commandments, we only could work with him so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah.
You know what I
These
mean?
is question. I know it sounds oxymoron, but I gotta ask these questions because these are some of the things that they ask. But I kind of already know where you're gonna go with it.
So,
but I got
so
you,
this
man.
is the point. So let's say he said, "Hey man, I got a platform like this right here.
Yeah.
Boom. Hey, come holler." We're like, okay, we'll holler, but we gotta adhere to what the Bible say. Right? Read that.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the
So listen to the first question. Can two walk together unless they agree? Read.
Will a lion roar in the forest when he had no prey?
Will a lion roar if he got no prey? Read.
Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all?
So the answer to all these questions is no. No. So back to that first original question of the verse. Read it again.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
No. Two can't walk together unless they be agreed. Now you mentioned the camaraderie basically that you had with a couple brothers when you did the Million Man March. And that's great. Ain't nothing against that. That's good because that's supposed to be the purpose of coming together, right?
Yeah.
To unify and have unity moving forward, right? But that's the problem, right? Using that example of the Million Man March, all of the men that come, they don't agree. So they're not unified moving forward together. You understand? Because somewhere they divide in a thought, in a ideology. So then they split ways.
Man,
They come together for a moment, and as they start to move together, going forward, they end up doing what? Splitting ways because of something that
small little divisions and everything
they don't
like
agree
that.
on.
Man, we over here at the spot on the spot, man. You know what I'm saying? Go like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, I gotta end this one because I gotta, man, I'm supposed to go
No
swim
doubt,
up.
no doubt.
Man, we got the black man Israelites in here, man.
Just
and,
Israelites.
Man, hey. Always correct me, the Israelites in here, man. You know what I mean? So this is what I want y'all to do. If y'all want to know some more information about them, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna put on the thing, and then also let them know where they can find you, man. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
sir. You got that, B.
Yeah, you can find us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook at IUIC Seattle, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, we're everywhere. So it's not hard to get in contact with us.
So I got a question.
Oh, yeah, IsraelUnite.org.
Yes, israelunite.org.
Am I going to have to wait a year to get you guys back on here?
Hey, it's up to y'all, man.
What you mean? It's up to I told y'all.
Pencil us in, man.
Man, I told y'all before, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Hey, man, we'll
come through, man, as much as you want, man.
I would love for y'all to, man.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Because
Definitely.
at the end of it all, man, you know, I respect what you guys out here doing.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I respect the movement, man. And, you know, any brothers that can stick by the law and show the discipline to do it, man, come on, man.
All praises.
You know what I'm saying? So again, man, you know what I mean? I love to have y'all on here, man. Please don't get it twisted.
Yep.
Because I get to learn something, man, you know. And you know, you never know, man. It could be somebody that's watching y'all that's taking this in that may be like, hey, bro, hey, I seen you on the spot, bro. I needed I need that knowledge.
That's right.
So you know what I mean? Again, man, tell everybody, man, go ahead, tell them where they can find you, tell them the names and everything, you know. And you know, anything that you guys got coming up or anything like that they can come support.
That's what's
and
up.
you know,
Go ahead, you start.
Real quick.
talk to me.
My
Go
name
ahead.
Officer Caleb.
Mr. Caleb, Officer Caleb, yes, sir.
I just want to leave you with this real quick, just to think about.
Yes, sir.
Because in the earth right now, everybody's calling us a hate group. But I want you to hear what the Son of God said will happen to his prophets. Go to Matthew 5 and verse 11 and 12. I just want you to hear what Christ said was going to happen to his prophets in the last days and what they would say about them. Read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 11. Blessed are ye.
What did he say?
Blessed are ye
Blessed are ye
when men shall revile you
when men shall hate you,
and persecute you
persecute you,
and shall say all manner of evil against you.
and shall say all manner of evil against you, because that's what they do to us. They speak evil against us. But how do they do it?
Falsely.
They do it falsely. We ain't out here telling our people to kill each other. We ain't out here telling our people to rob each other. We telling our people to repent, keep the commandments of God. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. But they say that's a hate group. They speak evil against us falsely, but Christ said we're blessed. Read.
For my sake.
Go ahead.
Rejoice.
What did Christ tell us to do?
Rejoice.
He told us to rejoice when that happened
And be exceeding glad.
and be exceedingly glad. Why?
For great is your reward in heaven.
For great is your reward in heaven.
For so persecuted they, the
That's
prophets,
the same thing they did to the prophets,
which were before you.
which were before you. So we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Telling our people to repent. We already got the word from the King Christ that this would happen to his servants because of his name's sake. So by us going out here teaching this Bible to our people, it's already prophesied that we would be hated for doing it.
And I got a question. If I invite y'all brothers back on again, man, you mind live streaming so you can kind of get some, you know, some call-ins and some feedback from, you know what I mean?
We could live stream.
You know, and like I said, it'll be nothing where, you know, I'm gonna keep it straight real. It's gonna be disrespectful. You know, it ain't gonna be, you know, got love for Sinetta, but they ain't gonna be Sinetta when you gonna be attacked or anything like that. Just, you know what I mean? Just where some brothers can ask some questions, some intelligent questions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And where you guys can kind of answer, man.
Yeah, let's set it up, man. Let's set it up.
Man, I'm telling you, man, we at the spot on the spot, man. We got the Israelites, man. These brothers done correct me all the time, man. Again, I apologize. But, man, we got them back, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank you guys, man, for real, man, for blessing us with the word, man. And again, hey, man, this is y'all platform just as well as it's mine, man. And please,
All praise to the Most High.
man, come out, man. You know what I'm saying? And come bless us, man, with the word and the knowledge, man, that, you know, our people really need, man. So I thank y'all, man, for real.
I'm Officer Yari. Again, this is United in Christ. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 1. I love to end with this.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard,
So we need to take heed to what we have heard, read.
lest at any time we should let them slip.
And let's not let it slip, read.
For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience receive a just recompense of reward, how shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation,
Don't neglect the salvation. There's no escaping, read.
which at the first began to be spoken by the Lord, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard him?
Stop. So take heed. All praises.
Tough, man.